All right, let's look at the area model. We are going to be multiplying two-digit by two-digit numbers, but first let's just multiply two one-digit numbers just to review what area is. Area is the space inside of a figure, and area is measured in square units. So if you have a rectangle that's 4 inches wide by 7 inches long, you just multiply the 4 times the 7, because you picture you've got 4 inches, so 4 rows here and 7 inches across the top. So 7 columns, and you have 4 times 7, 28 total squares. So the area is 28 square units. So using this as our baseline, we can use this area model to multiply much larger numbers. 73 and 46, for example. And if you're trying to find the area of this rectangle, you think, okay, well, let's multiply 73 by 46. Really, I probably should have put the 73 there, right? Because this is longer. It doesn't need to be to scale, though, because there's no way I'm going to be drawing 73 rows here, and I'm not going to even fit 46 columns in here. So these drawings don't need to be to scale. And really, we're saying that the number of squares that fit in here are going to be the product of 73 and 46. However, I can't do 73 times 46 in my head. So I do a little trick, is I split 73 into 70 and 3. I split it into its tens digit and its ones digit. And then I'm going to divide the whole rectangle up there as well. So imagine there are 3 rows here and 70 rows here. See, this is really not to scale. And then 46, I split that into 40 and 6. 4 is in the tens place, and the 6 is in the ones place. And I'm going to divide that rectangle further. So what it means is that, again, totally not to scale, this first section of the rectangle is going to have 70 rows and 40 columns. Goodness gracious. Now this one over here is going to have 70 rows, but only 6 columns. So if we can find the area of all 4 of these sections, then we can add these 4 sections together to find the total area. Let me switch colors here. See how this, so can we see that? Not very well. All right, so this section would be 70 rows and 40 columns. 70 times 40. Now we need to know how to multiply multiples of 10. Well, I know that 7 times 4, if I just look at the first digit, 7 times 4 is 28. But this is 7 tens, so that I have to add another place value. And that says 4 tens, so I have to add another place value. So 7D times 4D is actually 2,800. I'll hold that till later. Now over here, we still have 70 rows and 6 columns. 7 times 6 is 42, but I have one more place value here in this 70, so I need to add another place value there. So 420. So we are imagining in our area model that in this quadrant, this section of the rectangle, there are 2,800 tiny little squares, and in this section there are 420 tiny little squares. Now this section, it has 3 rows and 40 columns, so 3 rows of 40. 3 times 4 is 12, but this is 4 tens, so it should be 12 tens, 120. 120 little squares in this section. And in this section here, 3 rows times 6 columns. 3 rows of 6 is 18. All right, now that we have the partial products for each of these 4 sections, now we can just take the number of squares in each section, and if we add those squares all together, we get the area of the entire large rectangle. So I'm just going to rewrite each of these partial products that I've circled and make sure that I carefully align them vertically so that each of the place values can be clearly seen. So 18 right here. There we go. You just got to take care to make sure you line up your place values. And then we have 8 in the ones place. In the tens place, 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13 in the hundreds place. We carry that 1, and we have 3 thousandths. So adding up these four partial products, I see that the product of the entire expression is 3,358.